Howdy folks, happy Tuesday, hope you're doing well. Wow, that was already pretty loud for, yeah, it's 7 there. Oh, I was in a meeting just before this, I think that's why my volume was crazy there. Oh, nope, that was the wrong button, sorry, I thought I paused it. How's it going? Happy Tuesday. So we got a little bit of review tonight, and I did get a former student of mine pass this on. She's in charge of this internship program now out in Troy. So give that a look in the Discord. So I think all we have tonight, we wanted to go over the lab, which was essentially the practice midterm, and then we have the midterm. And I did push out the date. I had said it was going to be due next week, but I figured if you want to not do it now and do it over break instead, I don't really care one way or the other. So it'll be due in 2 weeks from tonight. So it should be March 1st. Is that right? That doesn't sound right. Hang on. Let me check the dates. Is that 2 weeks? That's not 14 days. How did I get March 1st? I think I did something wrong. I tried to make it 2 weeks from tonight, 6 p.m., and apparently I did something wrong. Hang on, let me check that. Because 1 week is March 1st. Yeah, okay. 1 week is March 1st. That's what it is. So I didn't bump it out like I thought I did. So we'll put that out to the 8th, because next week is break, and if you want to be gone for break, go for it. So 2 weeks from tonight, that one will be due. Okay? And don't forget the Chapter 7 quiz due tonight as well, 11:59 p.m. if you haven't had a chance to get that one done yet. So Chapters 1 through 7, without 6, are going to be on the midterm there with those practice questions that we talked about last week that became our lab. So we fire up NetBeans here while we take a look at this. And we'll look at those 2 practiced questions so we can solve them here real quick for our lab. Lab 6. Excuse me. And we can go from there. All right, so we're going to work on writing a talking stuffed animal class that has attributes for name, color, sound to make, and battery has power. Write a constructor that accepts values for name, color, and sound to make. Have it set battery has power to true. Add get methods for name, color, battery has power. So there's no get method for sound to make. And the way that we get at that is when we squeeze it, we'll generate a random number 1 to 10. If it's 1, set power to false. And then if it's power, return the sound to make. Otherwise, return an empty string. We can change battery. So we don't have a set method for battery. We just will change battery, which will say, hey, we do have some battery. All right, so let's see if NetBeans will think about running here for us. Maybe. Slowly but surely, we're getting there. So how else is everything going? You folks getting ready for break? We got other exams happening, or I don't know what else is going on this week. It was President's Day yesterday. All right, so let me close this one down, and we'll take a look at Lab 1, or Lab 7. So Lab 6. Goodness, that's it. Can't count. All right, it's actually not action. That's fun. So close the projects. Maybe it'll close. Oh yeah, it says my encoder's overloaded again. Oh goodness. That means it's just taking up too much. There we go. All right, we'll do a new project. For Lab 6, and we'll put this in Tuesday night repository. Here we go. All right, so we're talking stuffed animal. So that'll be our class name here. Finish the rest of my coffee. I'm sad it's all gone. I just have water. It's not the same if it's not filtered through coffee beans. All right. Get rid of all of our junk here. Okay, and then we'll come to our project, open up our package. We'll add a new class file here. Okay, nothing needs to go in main right now, so we'll add a new class file. Call this talking stuffed animal. I just copy pasted it. Just like easy. Make sure I don't have any spaces in there. And we're off to the races. But inside of my class now, right, I want my private attributes. So I want a private string for name. I want a private string for, what else do we have here? A color, for a color, and we had a private string for the noise to make, and then a private boolean for battery has power. Okay, and then again, we don't want to have to write this ourselves, so we're going to say insert some code, and let's do some getters first. We want get for everything except noise to make. Right, so I'll take that one off. I'll just uncheck it. I'll get the other one. So now I have methods that are public string get name, public string get color, and public boolean is battery has power. That one's a little bit funny here, but it's okay because it's is if it's a boolean, like it's true or false. It's either true or false. It's not really a get. This is why they, that's okay. It's fine. It's going to sound a little funny, but no big deal here. Right, and then we want a constructor. Remember, the constructor's name is the same as the class name. And we're going to insert code. We can go to constructor here too. And I can say, hey, give me a name, a color, and a noise to make. We'll take those arguments, name, color, and noise to make. We'll set them here. And then I want to say battery has power equals true. Right? We're just going to say a brand new toy should have a good battery. So you don't need to give me a value of true or false for that one. We'll just assume it's true. Okay. We got our constructor. We have get methods. And we're going to add a change battery method here that sets battery has power to true. So we'll add a new method here. Public void, it doesn't return anything, so void. Does, I like that, let's get, does battery have power? Yes, I like that. Bonus points for you there, my sir. Bonus points, and I think I fixed this up. A friend of mine was in chat, and I can target people now, and it should, there we go. Aha, it even mentions your name. So, public void, change battery. Right, and we're just going to say battery has power is true. True, not true. True. All right, so we got change battery. Now we need squeeze. It generates a random number 1 to 10. If the number is 1, set battery has power to false. Then, if the battery has power, return the sound to make. Otherwise, return an empty string. So sure. So public, if we're going to return a string here, it needs to be return type of string. This is squeeze. So first thing is we need to generate a random number. We can say if math.random times 10 times 10. And I'm going to add 1 here, right? And if all of that is an integer, and if all of that equals a 1, then we'll say battery has power. Oh, we ran out of power. Bad luck, 1 out of 10. Right? So generate the random number 1 to 10. If it's a 1, we have no power. Okay, then we're going to say if battery has power. Now, a lot of people will say battery has power equals true, and this is just redundant here. It's not necessary because it already is true or false. You're not saying if true equals true. You can just say, hey, if true, do something here. So if it's true, we're going to return the noise to make. Now, we could put an else here, but that's also redundant because once you hit a return, your code stops. It's done. So then I can just say return here. Right? Else is redundant. There's nothing wrong about having an else there, you just don't need it. So if we don't have to do extra typing, we'll try not to do extra typing. There's my class. That's it. Nothing actually has to go inside of main. Now, we can't use it yet, or we haven't used it yet. We don't know if it works, so we probably want to put something inside of Lab6, inside of this main method, and try it. Right? But we don't have to. All we need is the class part. But if we wanted to try it here, we could ask them here. So what is your animal's name? And what color is it? And what noise does it make? And we probably need the scanner for keyboard. The new scanner. Given system.in. Sure. Yeah, add or import. And then we can have a string for name is keyboard.nextLine. And then we can have a string for color, keyboard.nextLine. And a string for noise to make is the keyboard.nextLine. Okay, so I'll ask you all these questions. And then I can say, okay, now I have a talking stuffed animal. We'll just call it my animal, sure, equals a new So use that keyword to create a new instance of this in memory, say talking stuffed animal, and now I have to give it the argument. So right now it's yelling at me. It's saying a constructor requires string, string, string. It found no argument. So I have to give it those strings. So I have to give it name, color, and noise to make. Now this part's a little tricky. You want to make sure you do it in the right order, right? Name, color, noise to make, because otherwise bad stuff could happen. Okay. Then we can say, we'll take our animal dot squeeze. We'll squeeze it, see if we get a noise to make. I don't know why it keeps typing instance up. It's driving me crazy. See if we get a noise here. And we could just loop through a bunch of times. I don't know. Or maybe we'll say while animal dot has power. Does battery have power? We'll squeeze. And eventually it's going to stop, right? So let's see. Because 1 out of 10 times that should just stop working. It's going to do that compile and save thing anyway. So okay, what's upset? It doesn't like something. What does it not like? I don't see any red lines. Stop that. Try again. Let's see what's up with now. Okay, now it's running. Okay, so I have a bear. It is brown. It goes rar. And it went rar 1 time before it ran out. Let's try it again. It's bear. It's brown. Goes rar. This time it rars a bunch, right? Bunch of rars before it runs out of batteries eventually. That's it. So again, this part was optional, right? Not necessary, but you wanted to make sure that the class did what we thought it was supposed to do here, right? We should make sure it works. All right, questions, thoughts, concerns? What did we do last week? I was on a bunch of cold meds last week, so I don't really remember a whole lot about it. Okay, we did our can. Yep, okay, cool. Can. Cool. We got a little more to talk about when we come back from break, but I think we're good for now. How do you folks feel? Was that a good practice there for the midterm? And then I'll commit this to GitHub. So you've got it for reference if you'd like. Oh, I don't need Twitch open. That's why it's probably going slow. It tries to like decode my video to watch it too. It's like it slows things down if I keep that tab open. Stuffed animal is becoming sentient. I hope not. No, that would be a little scary. You folks enjoying the rain? I'm bummed. We're supposed to go camping this weekend up at camp. It's up in Lapeer. So I'm hoping we have snow because we usually go sledding at winter camp. That'd be a little sad if we didn't have the snow. We'll see. All right, so here is Lab6 Commit. Halarutan. It auto mods links. So I don't know actually what that was. I just see that it auto modded it. Oh, excellent. Yeah. So the get and set. So a get method simply just returns the value. It says, here's what my value is. Set methods really depend on whether or not we think this value should change in our code. Right? If it makes sense for it to change, then we'll add a set method. If it doesn't make sense, so like once your animal has a name and a color, we might not ever change their name and color. 2 sign snipes. You're not picking up any audio? Does anyone else having any issues with audio? Sometimes when you come to Twitch, it'll auto-mute you, or auto-mute the stream. You can just check the little mute in like the bottom left and see maybe just the players muted there. Yep, so our gets just return the values here. So like when we did our classes here, right, for can, we had get methods. Now, set the beverage right? This one is, okay, what beverage are we putting in the can? So I can refill a can with a different beverage. So this sort of makes sense to say, hey, I can set what this beverage is, right? It's going to start off with water, and then if I go pour something else in here, it'll be a different beverage. Or it'll start off with sparkling water, and then I can go pour regular water in because, that's what comes out of our tap water. We could set the current volume in milliliters, sure, but we can also put constraints around it to make sure it's a valid value. Oh yeah, java.util.random is great. Yeah, without the casting. For some reason, our book doesn't use that, so I started shying away from it. But yeah, I used to use random all the time. That way you can just get its particular integer value for sure. That's definitely a good way to go about it too. But it doesn't include the upper bound, which is the other thing that drives me nuts. So Java random, there's a class, it's kind of like the scanner class. You can make a new instance of this random class, and it can give you next values. So like next int will give you a pseudo-random value, right, up to exclusive of the upper bound. So from 0 inclusive up to the outer bound returns an int of a given number here. Yep. So this one is really helpful here. Just again, make sure that, so like if you want 1 to 10, you would put 10 as your upper bound, and then you add 1 because you get 0 through 9, and then adding 1 would shift it all over 1 to 1 to 10. Yeah. So random's great. The book always just uses the math one, so we just deal with the ugly casting. Yeah, thanks for that link. I'll put that in here. Sorry it auto-modded. There's like a default option in here. Okay. Yeah, for sure. Any of those should be great. Okay. Other thoughts, questions, concerns? What else can I do for you tonight? We got the rest of the night for the midterm. It's open book, open notes, open internet, not open neighbor. You can save it, come back to it anytime until you're ready to submit. And I did push the due date out till March 8th before class if you want. I guess it's up to you however you want to use your break. I thought everyone would want to get it done before break and have a real break, but yeah, go for it. It's your break. Well, thanks so much for following along, my friend. I hope you got the audio working there. I love it spitting out those coffee emotes. I think that's awesome. It's like the coolest thing I ever paid for. Yeah, you can do it you can technically do the random in one line too. I have to open up NetBeans again. You just create a new instance of random on that line. So, it's probably about the same amount of typing. And then you have to add an import for random too. Oh, your whole browser tab was muted. Okay. That's fun. Yeah, there's like 3 different ways to have audio muted now. Like in the player, in the browser, on Windows, or whatever your operating system is. Yeah, so let's see. So we could look at that random real quick if you want. That's fun. So the benefit of random, as well as a class, is that you can seed it, which is fun. Yeah, so the time. No, so it does give a random value every time you run it here. What it doesn't, so what you can do is you can give it a specific seed value so that it will always generate the same sequence of random numbers. It's pseudo-random. It's not you're actually random. Don't use it for anything like cryptographically secure here. So then this is our other option for random. Is you say random equals random. And then here now, it creates an instance of the random class from the Java util library. Come on, how many important that means? Yeah, and it uses the clock time. So that like whenever you're running, you'll get that sequence of random values. And it's rare for 2 people to run a program in the exact same millisecond. So then we could have an int random number, random.nextInt. Then we could next int, and we could say 10, and we just add 1 here. So it gets a number 0 to 9, adds 1 to make it 1 to 10. Wow, I can't type anything here. Gets a number at the 10. Okay, make it 1 to 10. Right, and then we could do that with the random number here. If you want to do it all in one line, you just throw new random here instead of random. Sure. I don't know if that's any better. Hey, Jake. Yeah, definitely. Software development is a great field. Definitely a big fan of that. Um, Depending on what previous experience you have, sometimes the barriers to entry are a little bit rough. A lot of job postings seem to want a bachelor's degree, although thankfully some of the big companies are starting to try and shift away from that as like a hard stop. And they say, hey, if you know what you're doing and you can show us you know what you're doing, you don't need the degree, the piece of paper per se. Not that it's a bad route to go down and that you're not going to learn great things, but for people switching, that can be a bit of a barrier there for sure. So like places like Tesla, they'll say, hey, if you know what you're doing, we'll take you. We don't care if you've got a degree or whatever. But yeah, find stuff that's interesting. There's tons of content out there for sure. If you want to, I can plug my own stuff where I have all my classes that I teach out on my YouTube. If you do !YouTube, you'll get the link there. So that's all the classes I teach here in our software engineering program for an associate's degree, which is, that's a pretty entry-level position too. And you can say, hey, I've got at least some degree here, some certificate here. If you want to go the degree route and go do the general ed classes, you get more of a liberal arts base, or just the certificate if you already have some sort of degree. Hey, I've just taken the classes. So we've got some routes there for sure. Yes, Python is new for OCC. It is brand new, Flynn. So when I interviewed, they asked if I could teach a Python class. And I said, yeah, I teach one over at U of M Dearborn. And it took a year to get it into the catalog. And then we said, well, probably don't want to teach it fall and winter because we want to try and attract transfer students. So we placed it in the summer. So it'll be the first time it runs. I'm pretty excited. Yeah, that should be a lot of fun. So the weird thing with our language electives is we don't make this 1500 course a prereq for them. So you can take C++, you can take Visual Basic if you want, you can take C#, you can take Python without having taken Intro to Software Engineering, Intro to Programming. It's easier if you have, for sure, because you'll understand some of these concepts, but they start off at a basic, hey, here's what variables are, here's how you do loops, but it's faster because it's a 200 level class. So I did have someone, I forget which semester it was, I taught a C++ class, and they're like, hey, I'm taking 1500 and C++, and you're way ahead of where we are in the 1500 class. And I was like, yeah, because we have more stuff to cover. It's a 200 level class and that sort of thing. So some of it will be a repeat for what a variable is, what a loop is, but we'll learn it in the Python syntax, and then we'll do some fun things with Python for sure. So I'm pretty excited. Should be a lot of fun. Now that one is the only in-person class I'm doing over the summer. Oh yeah, industrial design, very cool. And a product manager, very cool. Yeah, learning some software for sure would be super helpful. So having people who understand business and understand specific industry areas and have that knowledge is super helpful if they're working in software in that field, in that industry, because you get a better insight for what software is supposed to do for you. One of the things that made the news, DoorDash came out with a policy saying, hey, no matter who you are at DoorDash, you will do at least one DoorDash delivery a month, so that you get a feel for what the drivers and what the delivery people are doing with our application, with our software, with our tools here. And there was some software engineer who was complaining about it, or I don't know exactly what his role was. He's like, no, I make $400,000 a year out in the Bay Area. I'm not doing deliveries. I didn't sign up for this. And everyone was dumping on him. So there's a mix, Flynn. We're not not entirely sure if it's all pandemic related, but there was tons of demand for online courses. So we're trying to shift to more of a mix of online and on ground. And particularly the software engineering degree was approved to be offered online. So we have all of the software engineering classes will be offered online at some point, so that you can take it fully online without ever having to come to campus. But we're still trying to have a mix of on ground for some folks who want and prefer that in-person learning. So in the summer, my Python course will be online, or it will be in person on campus, but I'm still going to stream on Twitch because I think that's a fun way to do it. It's this high flex format. So I'll just stream from the classroom. So I'll be in the classroom with anyone who wants to come in person. I'll be live online on Twitch. Anyone who has to join along live synchronously can join along live. And then anyone who wants to watch the VODs on YouTube can do it asynchronously. And whatever works best for your learning style, I'm up for. That's currently the plan, unless something new and terrible happens. And I think we're getting there, closer to this being more of a endemic disease rather than a pandemic. Now that more people are getting vaccinated and we're better able to treat it, and we've got some good options with medications now coming out from some companies. So I think the risk of it being super severe is lower, which is fun. Yeah, excellent. It's been a fun option. I've been doing that since before the pandemic. I started on Twitch in 2019 in the winter before the whole pandemic thing, because I was a big nerd and I watched stuff on Twitch, and someone was like, "Hey, it'd be nice if you could record class," and I was like, "Well, I could broadcast it, and it would also automatically record it for me," and I thought that was fun. So I think Twitch is a fun experience. I'm teaching one of the courses this semester on Zoom, and I've literally had one person talk one time in all these weeks. So like the benefit of being able to talk synchronously, I think is good, and that's awesome. And if you folks are interested in that, we can hop on the Discord voice chat for that, to have synchronous voice chat while I'm doing Twitch here. But that way we don't have to have Zoom with a bunch of black screens. And then it lives on Twitch and it's public, which I think is kind of fun. And we can raise money for that student scholarship fund. And then exporting stuff to YouTube doesn't take me 2 hours to convert and upload. Trying to convert and upload Zoom recordings is painfully slow, and I don't know why. So yeah, so here, let me commit this. Did I forget to do that? Here's the other random. Let me make sure I save that. So other random option. Yeah, the random class is really fun, and you can do cool things with it. We can look at later. Being able to control the sequence of random values can be helpful, because it's really hard to test something that's random. And we'll talk more about testing when we get back from break as well, because that's another important part here. Okay, other thoughts, questions, concerns? Always happy to just talk general tech and software stuff too, so I appreciate you folks in chat hopping in. I do miss that of the in-person classes, just kind of like hanging out on break or after class, talking just general tech stuff and talking with people. So I do miss that, but come to my office hours. Meet me then. I'm happy to chat anytime as well. Although I should be grading stuff, but that's my own problem. I can do that outside of office hours too. Apologize, I'm still behind on the grading stuff here. That's definitely will be getting caught up over this week and next week for break. So, 68 things. Man, those numbers just pile up faster when you guys keep doing your work. So, yeah. All right, if that's all we've got, do you want to see if there's anyone else around on Twitch that'd be fun to go and hang out with? Throw that on the other screen here real quick. Let's see if I have any friends online who might be doing something fun. Of course, it's super slow to load. Okay, let me put on my ending screen so I'm not trying to screen capture. It'll go a little faster. There we go. And then hopefully this will load my Twitch a little bit nicer. We can go hang out with paleontologizing if you want to go learn about more dinosaurs. Let's see who else is doing fun stuff. I've got a friend making ceramics. I'm going to check out some ceramics. Glass art. You want to watch someone doing glass blowing. A friend from the Knowledge Fellowship. Or someone doing wood crafting. Or our friend, a former student, who is playing Destiny 2. If you just want to watch someone go do some gaming, we can go hang out there as well with a former student. Up to you folks. Does anything sound fun? We also got a wood, did I say woodcraft? Wood, resin, metal, and stone crafting with Owen. No? Okay. Well, we should go hang out then. It might be fun to go do some glass blowing. See if I can type this in right. Yeah, okay, looks like we can head over there. So we'll head over to Ishurna and check out her stream, have some fun, and I'll see you around, folks. Let me know if there's anything I can do for you. If not, have a fantastic break. See you later.